dominate.
Sometimes we forget these guys are just freshmen, but these Duke freshmen get their first taste of the NCAA tournament tonight. They're going to tip off against North Dakota State at 7:10 Eastern. Yesterday, they sat down during media availability, putting this moment in perspective. Let's take a listen.
I'm very excited to be here because, I watched March Madness as a little kid, and to actually be here, playing for Coach K, playing for Duke, I couldn't ask for a better situation.
For us, we try to approach every game the same, not just in the tournament, but in the season. Every game is huge for us.
We're just a team full of fighters, I think. Coach says that we all fight and we be one. And I feel like every day we're maturing, growing up, right before everybody's eyes. And I think we have a good shot at winning it all.
Duke's perimeter shooting could be its undoing if we are looking for weaknesses. The Blue Devils shoot 30.2% from behind the arc, which would be the lowest mark by a team to ever reach the Final Four. And I'll make no bones about it, I have Duke winning it all in my bracket. But, Jay, will you have some vulnerabilities that you'd like to point out about the Blue Devils?
Well, every team has vulnerabilities. And when you think about Duke, number one, first off, it is the three-point shooting. That's what you worry about. A team playing a zone, a team packing it in, you being in a big-time stadium. You saw the stat. They would be the lowest shooting three-point shooting percentage team ever to win the whole thing. You need shooters in order to win a national championship. And right now, I think Duke has scores. I don't know if they have shooters. The second thing would be, Jalen, also their free throw struggles. They shoot 69% from the free throw line. In the game, you need guys to go up to the free throw line and knock down those free throws to win the game. 69% is very difficult. Thirdly, you worry about this team getting in foul trouble with Zion Williamson, right? You talk about potential matchups for them to play against in the tournament. Virginia Tech can spread you out. They can drive and attack. And then Michigan State, another team, because of the bigs that they have, everybody from Kenny Goins, who's 6'8", 230 pounds, to Xavier Tillman from Michigan State. He's 6'9", 245 pounds. To Nick Ward, who is their best big for Michigan State. He's 6'9", 245 pounds as well. If Zion Williamson is guarding those guys, if you're Tom Izzo, you throw the ball down low to the block every single time. You challenge him defensively not to get in foul trouble.
Well, I know that you took Duke to win the whole thing. I know that you did not. I don't know who you took to win the whole thing. Do you have Duke winning this whole thing?
Is that a trick question?
I don't know.
The Michigan Wolverines are in this tournament, right?
Oh,
yes.
They're number 2 seed, right?
With your squad,
I'm riding with my squad.
Okay.
I thought that went without being said.
Do you have them beating Duke in the Final Four?
I have them beating everybody.
No, I get that. That was a poorly phrased question.
Yes.
Do you think Duke gets to the Final Four?
I do.
Okay.
I do. And here, to Jay Will's point, not only do I worry about Duke shooting, as a player, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, I did not like playing in unfamiliar places, in particular domes. That's when you really struggle shooting the ball, because all of a sudden everything looks a lot different. The depth perception is a lot different. And all of a sudden you're in an arena and your team's shooting 30% on average. That's the game that I look for them to struggle with.
It's also, there is that phenomenon that takes place that we've seen forever, that if a top seed, especially a team like Duke that gets as much attention as anyone ever, is playing in a tight game, the entire building goes nuts because they feel they may be seeing this huge upset in the making. So that wouldn't happen tonight. It would be ridiculously stunning if tonight was dramatic. But every step they go the rest of the way, there will be that feeling. And these are still freshmen. At the end of the day, it is still 4 freshmen they're counting on to play huge for them.
And remember what that does. When you play against guys who really can't shoot the ball well from the outside, you just you pack the zone. You pack the middle of the paint and say, okay, now we're in a better position to rebound. So Zion Williamson can't get second chance points. Now you have to beat us from the outside.
And also teams that know they're not as heralded and not as athletic, what they do is they get in front of you, they fake a lot of flops.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen to Zion. That's what's going to happen to RJ. So they got to be prepared for that.
One quick point about Michigan. They got to get past Florida first. Just saying.
That's true.
Okay.
I got Florida beating
Michigan.
The alma mater.
Florida beating Michigan.
Going head to head, that should be fun. We have much more college basketball as this hour continues, including Richard Pitino live after a big win for Minnesota yesterday. But let me get you to the NBA game of the night last night, because, Jalen, this was good. Pacers, Warriors. Steph Curry and the Warriors. This was a close game in the first half. In the opening minutes, look at DeMarcus Cousins rolling to the basket here, Jalen. Look at the athleticism.
Coming back from injury, great soft touch, gets the roll off of the backboard. And again, they're going to need this guy to play at an elite level.
Look at him in the open floor now. On this next sequence I want you to see, just watch DeMarcus Cousins give it to him and watch this big man go.
The key word is a big man. There's so many plays where he's gotten the basketball and gone coast to coast and finished without ever having to pass it anymore.
He had a team-high 19 in this game, and then the Warriors would just open it up. That's Clay from the corner. The lead is 10 at halftime. Third quarter, they would just explode. Look at the handles here from Steph Curry. What are you going to do here?
The third quarter Warriors are the 31st team in the NBA, I promise you. They play on a different level when they come out after halftime.
He's looking at the bench before the ball goes in.
That's just not fair. When we talk about the greatest shooters I've seen, that's the kind of stuff that they do.
Look at him here. Steph, no. Steph, yes. Warriors up 28 points.
Look at that. 5 guys in the paint. I remember watching this game. That was crazy.
Curry would score 15, 7 assists. Warriors go on and win, going away 112-89. Big win and easy win for Golden State. And it was DeMarcus Cousins, to go back to him. His 22nd game with the Warriors is the first time he leads them in scoring. He added 11 rebounds to go with those 19 points, his 7th double-double of the year. More NBA. Laura.
Let's run the floor and do it. 8 Nuggets scored in double figures on the way to a 113-108 win over the Wizards. Think they can get this top seed in the West, Jalen? You've been high on them.
I am high on them, but I don't think they're going to get the number 1 seed, Laura, because they play 9 teams with over 500 records versus the Golden State Warriors play 3. However, I do think they'll end up at the number 2 spot. Other squads will not want to go play in Denver for a Game 7.
That is a huge home court advantage with the altitude there, certainly. Okay, how about Donovan Mitchell? Jay, Will, coming up big for the Jazz. He had 34 points. It wasn't enough, though, in the loss to the Hawks. Who's the ideal matchup for the Jazz in round 1, you think?
The ideal matchup, I mean, look, I think this is a team that can get hot from anywhere. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell and Joe Ingles, these guys can spread the floor and shoot. You have 2 low-post players that can block out the sun. Look, they're going to play who they're going to play right now. It's going to be interesting to watch. I mean, look, they're one of 4 teams tied for that 4th spot in the West right now.
It will be fascinating. We'll see what happens there. And let's go to the Pistons. They shot 17 of 42 from 3 to beat the Suns 118-98. Jalen, can the Pistons keep shooting like that down the stretch of the season?
I wouldn't say they could shoot at that percentage headed as the season progresses, but Andre Drummond's going to continue to get every rebound as he leads the league. Blake Griffin has been terrific. I think this Detroit Pistons team, depending on who they play in the first round, has a chance to actually advance.
I like it. They also held the Suns to 38 points in the second half, so defense was good, too.
We can hold the Suns.
Well, yeah. All right, yeah, let's take Get Up and take on the Suns and see what happens. Kemba Walker scored 31 points, leading the Hornets to a 113-106 win over the Timberwolves. Will he be able to lead the Hornets to a playoff berth, you think?
Respect to the people of Carolina. Free Kemba. Like, I would love to see him get a big deal and a sign and trade. Like, this is one of the best players that we don't get a chance to see on a big-time stage. And it just pains me as I watch him on League Pass put up these big-time numbers and really goes unheralded based on his skill.
Laura, the answer is no.
Free Kemba.
They're not going to get to the playoffs.
Okay, well, good to know. The Kings turned it up in the second half and beat the Mavs 116-100 behind Buddy Hield, De'Aaron Fox, Marvin Bagley. They're not going to do it this year, but, Jay, Will, do you think this young team and their core makes the Kings a playoff team next season?
I think they're right there. I mean, they were fighting for that 8th spot. They're still fighting for it. I mean, you have to love the core of De'Aaron Fox. You talk about those combo guards. He's that new type of guard with Buddy Hield. I actually love what they've been doing with this young franchise. When's the last time the Kings have been relevant? I mean, this is their year.
Let's bring it out to the table here as we have a moment before we move on to other things here as we look sort of back over that. The one thing that jumps out to me, and Kemba Walker is a guy who is going to become a very interesting free agent this summer. They're going to free Kemba. He's going to be free all on his own. And everyone in New York, I know, is excited about him on both sides of the East River, both Brooklyn and at the Garden. And I know the Lakers, that'll be a consideration for him there. Where do you think a guy like Kemba Walker winds up, and how much of a difference does he make? He'll be a free agent. People won't get as excited about, but I think he's a much better player than people realize.
If I'm Kemba, I'm trying to get to New York City. That's where he grew up. You have 2 teams, one in the net, that have shown that they can develop guards, so that may not be a landing spot. You look at what the Knicks have done, adding Dennis Smith Jr., that'll be a young, dynamic backcourt going forward. So if I'm Kemba, I'm trying to get to New York, but definitely I'm trying to get out of playing with the Bobcats.
He's a New York kid, so this certainly does seem like
Hornets.
What's the best spot for him?
I think Kemba Walker will be a New York Knicks next year. I think he'll be a Knick. I see him donning that Knick uniform.
If he does, that would make sense. One would
I wouldn't think that Kyrie and Kemba will be in the same squad.
Correct. So it would seem like maybe Durant and Kyrie, people have made rumors.
Zion.
We'll see where Kemba winds up going. Right. And then who gets the first pick. All right, as we continue, we're just getting started on a very busy Friday morning. Still to come, part 2 of my interview with Kobe Bryant. How does he think he compares to Michael Jordan and LeBron? We have one of LeBron's former teammates in studio as well, so he will chime in.